Lee County, Florida is a very safe place for all of us lucky enough to live here. But if you're a realtor and you encountered a bad guy, how would you react? We've got the perfect guest to advise you on that on this episode of the Royal Palmcast, which begins right now.
From the studios of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association in Fort Myers, Florida, this is the Royal Palmcast, the show about people and things that realtors, homebuyers, and home sellers care about. And now, here's your host, Jim Sanville.
Hello and welcome to the Royal Palmcast. I'm your host, Jim Sanville, along with Jerry Johnson, and we're coming to you from the studios of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association in beautiful, sunny Fort Myers, Florida. Jerry, it's a sunny day. How's your disposition today? You doing okay?
Well, you know when the sun's out, I'm a happy camper. So yeah, everything's upbeat and good, and we are moving and grooving today.
You'd probably rather be out in the golf course or out on your boat, right?
Boat, yes. As you know, working through a few bugs on the boat, but we almost got it.
Yeah.
Been able to take it out a few times, but just have to keep hammering at it. But that would be a nice place to be on a good weather day, yes.
So you're using a hammer to fix your boat, or?
Well, if I had a hammer, I'd hammer in the morning.
I know you would.
And hammer in the evening.
I know you would.
All over my boat. Anyway.
Jerry, you're killing me. You're killing me. We're losing listeners quickly. Let's introduce our guest before we lose any steam here. We don't want to lose the momentum. We are lucky to have, for the second time, Dr. Kim Swanson from the Lee County Sheriff's Office. Welcome, Dr. Swanson.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Great to see you again. Now, Dr. Swanson is a community response unit crime prevention specialist with LCSO, and she has been with the department or the office of the sheriff for 25 years. She's been a deputy public information officer, and her current position now, she's a self-defense instructor as well, and has multiple degrees, including a PhD in business administration. She's an instructor at multiple institutions in Florida at the highest levels of crime prevention. This woman knows how to stay safe. Don't you?
I try, and I try to help others.
You're doing a great job, too. Have you ever personally been in a situation where you feared for your safety? I mean, I know in your line of work that's possible.
A couple times in my line of work, I was confronted with someone with a knife, but fortunately she put it down before had to take, action. And we have a lot of tools. Once I did get attacked at a fitness center.
Really?
When I was coming out, somebody tried to grab my purse, and I was able to fight them off, and they ran. Huh. So I think that maybe brought some interest into figuring out how can I defend myself if something should happen. And I took a self-defense class for the first time. That was way back when I was in college. So
you have formal training in self-defense. Can you tell me about your background
there? We are certified as instructors for self-defense, and we took some certification. It was in another county with an instructor and from the National Self-Defense Institute. So. And then we do our classes here. They're 2-hour classes, and they can be for anybody, but they're females only.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's you're not teaching right now during COVID, right?
No, but I just scheduled 4 last night, in fact, for October, November, and December. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing is scheduling, and then however it works out, we might have to cancel and reschedule. That's what we've been doing.
Yeah, everything's up in the air for everyone.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a day that says this date, it's over with?
I think everyone in the world is looking forward to that. We deserve it. We've been through a lot. But we are all safe and healthy today.
Yes.
So that's count our blessings.
Yes.
Now, we talked in our last show, Dr. Swanson, about things realtors can do to be aware of dangers that may lurk in the dark corners of the real estate world. And you talked about how they can prepare for it and even hold themselves with confidence, and that kind of thing helps. Today I want to focus more on what happens if you are attacked. What happens if you do become a victim? How do you handle that, both in the immediate sense and in the longer term sense in terms of how you prepare for that? Tell me about what to do if you're attacked, if you're a realtor.
Well, there are a couple things. One is I want to emphasize, and we spoke about this in the first class, always be in that yellow state, that awareness. If something makes your spidey senses tingle, your intuition tingle, as you're showing a house, as you're waiting for someone to show a house, something seems out, that's when you need to go to alert status. Then if you do get attacked or somebody is making you feel bad and you're like, uncomfortable with this, and you start to leave and they grab you, or they're verbally saying, hey, get in here, then you might have to go into the attack and the act. That's the red zone. And you have to be prepared for that. You have to have that mindset of survival. What do I need to do to survive this? Some women or men, it could be, I submit to this, what they're asking, here's my purse. Many times it's just robbery. They don't want to hurt you. They want to get out of there as quick as possible. So you give them what they want. You give them your jewelry or your purse or whatever it might be, and they leave. Other times, they may take it further, or they're there for something else, and they grab you. That's when you have to decide, am I going to resist? And many times, if you resist quickly to escape, they're caught off guard, and you can get away. If you carry some type of a weapon with you, like a pepper spray or something like that you can get to, that's one of the issues. You may not be able to get to it if you're not carrying it around your hand, which usually aren't. But you have to have that preparedness and thinking about the what ifs. So that is one of the things that I think is very important, and I teach in my active shooter classes. I do training for active shooter for offices. And you before you get into a situation like that, and you hopefully never do, you think about the what ifs. What if I'm getting out of my car and walking up and someone comes up behind me? What are some of the things I could do? What if I'm in here showing? What do I do? Some of the things to remember is your body is a weapon. So you may not have pepper spray, you may not have a firearm, you may not be able to reach a fire extinguisher to, spray it, but you have your hands. You can hit those vulnerable areas. So you stab your fingers into their throat, you stab into their eyes, you can take their arm, you can take their fingers and pull them back. There's many things, your voice, many times they're not even expecting you to, and if you yell, you scream at them, oh man, somebody's going to be hearing me, I'm going to take off. So you have things around you, and as you stage or look at your open house or you're showing, what is there that you could grab, whether it's a tool or whether it's your cell phone. And the nose is very vulnerable. So if you have a clipboard, jab it up the nose instead of hitting them over the head with it. But you're making your way toward the exit. Know where your exits are so you can escape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't want to stand in the corner of a room far away from the door.
You keep by where you can get out.
Do you recommend that a realtor, when he or she shows a house, that they go into a room, say a bedroom, with a prospect, or stay out of the room? Right.
I do not. I feel like you don't have to show them every nook and cranny in that room. You stand by the door. If you feel some realtors like this more comfortable staying outside and say, just go in and look, come back out, and I'll have any questions. Others go into the living room area and stay by the front door area. Others will go with you in case they're going to steal something, but stand by the door. Have that prepared, that if they try to, because they've had some realtors that they go and they try to pull them in, and they resist. You can stomp on their feet, you can hit them in the groin, you can whatever you need to do, and take off, and know where your quickest exit is to get out if you are trying to escape. Get to your car. Don't park your car in the driveway, because you may not be able to get backed out. It might be blocked in. Get where you're able to make your escapes as easy as possible for you.
Yeah, one of the things I remember from the time I first saw you at a new member orientation here at the association about a year ago is you said when you were at a red light, park or stop so that you can see the bottom of the tires in front of you. What's the reason for that?
That's so that you have space to get around them. They may, run out of gas. And if you're too close, you're blocked in, and you may not be able to back up because somebody's behind you. Now, there are occasional scenarios where carjackers, if they are targeting, they see the opportunity and you're up real close to them. Many times somebody's behind you, they see, oh, they can't back up, and they'll jump out of their car, come up to your window, try to grab your purse usually, or get your car. And so you want to make that way that you can get out on either side.
So the bad people are thinking that far ahead.
Yeah,
huh?
some of them do.
Yeah, I bet some don't.
Yeah, and some of them are just see an opportunity. Your purse is laying there in a car, or you have, hey, she's not, paying attention, or he. It's not always a woman.
Yeah. To this day, whenever I pull up to a red light and look at the tires in front of me, I think of you.
Yeah. It's something we were taught as deputies, because we may get a call or be able to get out, and
really stuck with me.
It's good for safety.
That's easy. That's easy.
Yeah.
It's just
it
being
helps
aware.
with getting hit from behind, too.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes.
So you're not, if you get rear-ended, you're not going to hit the car in front of you.
Yeah. Yep.
Jerry, do you have any?
That's what I was saying. Do you have any experience with this?
Yeah. Yes, I was recently in an accident where that happened. But thankfully, I always use that safety margin, and it kept me from hitting the car in front of me until the car behind me was hit by a car behind them.
Oh, boy.
Chain
and
reaction.
that still pushed me into the car in front of me, but it was a lot less severe than it could have been. But that safety distance is
there you
very
go.
important in many ways.
Testimonial right there. I want to talk a little bit more about weapons, Dr. Swanson, but first we need to take a very quick break, so we will do that right after we come back after this.
Hi, I'm Jennifer DeRocher, and you're listening to the Royal Palmcast.
I'm Ray Saraceno, and you're listening to the Royal Palmcast.
Hi, I'm Carolyn Johnson with Goodwill Industries of Southwest Florida, and you're listening to the Royal Palmcast.
As we strive to continue providing our Realtor members with the resources and tools they need for success, we wanted to make you aware of 3 MLS services: MLS Touch, e-commissions, and MLS Showing Time. Make sure to check out our Facebook page for more detailed information on what these services provide, and of course, all the other valuable resources, classes, and events the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association has to offer. At RPCRA, we're committed to the success of all members. That's who we are.
Education, you need it, we've got it. I'm Angela Foster, Director of Education at Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association. If you're a realtor in Southwest Florida, the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association has the classes, courses, workshops, and webinars you need to stay at the top of your game and keep your license current. Looking to build your continuing education hours? We offer core law and code of ethics classes to fulfill your CE requirement, along with many other courses to fulfill your requirements for specialty credits. Want to learn the ins and outs of the specific market you serve? Our A Series provides an in-depth look at Cape Coral and Fort Myers with all the right experts to fill you in. Our Contract Series is a 5-session course on listing agreements, FAR contracts, timelines, and more. It doesn't end there. Classes like how to stay out of real estate jail, negotiating skills, listing tips, conflict resolution, and many more keep realtors in Lee County up to speed with the latest information. Many of our classes are free to members, and some are open to non-members. If you're a real estate professional who's interested in working in the Southwest Florida market, we've got you covered. For more information, visit our website at rpcra.org or email education@rpcra.org.
Welcome back to the Royal Palmcast. I'm Jim Sanville along with Jerry Johnson and our very special guest today, Dr. Kim Swanson from the Lee County Sheriff's Office. We're talking all about realtor safety here in the middle of Realtor Safety Month, September. And I want to get back to something you touched on before the break, Dr. Swanson, which is weapons. I was looking at the NAR safety report today, the annual safety report, and I noticed that more people tend to use pepper spray than firearms, which I guess is not surprising. And the breakdown was more women use pepper spray, more men use firearms. I don't know that that's surprising either, but do you recommend one over the other? I mean, one seems a lot more lethal. What do you think?
I wouldn't recommend one or the other. It's what is you're going to use if you need it and what's comfortable for you. I find with firearms, sometimes women, they don't get one that fits their hand, so it's too big. Many times they're just pointing it. They might point it at somebody, but they're not really going to take a shot. And so it's not effective if you're not going to use it when the time comes. Pepper spray is more readily available. It's cheaper. A lot of women, I think, feel more comfortable because it has been touted to women as a self-defense weapon, and it can be very effective. But there are some things that you need to consider about it. One is, are you outside? If you spray it, is the wind blowing so it's going to blow into your face? You can work through it anyway, but it's a bear. Two, you've had it for 20 years, and now you need it, and there's nothing comes out because it's dried up. So you have to replace it every year. Make sure it's working. You don't want a weapon that's not going to work. Then if you're the proximity to the offender, if he's way across the room, do you want to have to walk up to him to spray it because otherwise it's not going to get in his eyes? Then the other thing is, can you get to it? Many times it's in your pocket, it's on your keychain, in your purse, and it's not readily available.
Now, is the commercially available pepper spray and other things like that, are they as effective as what law enforcement uses?
No, because law enforcement is a lot more stronger. It's OC spray. It's a lot more, hurt. It's a lot stronger of a effect. But what you're trying to do is not take them down and kill them. You're trying to escape. So if you spray someone in the vicinity of their face and they take their hands and they're covering their eyes or screaming, they're backing up, that gives you a chance to escape, to get out of the room, get out of the house that you need to. So that buys you some time. So in that aspect, it is just as effective as what law enforcement uses. It's just not as strong.
Okay. Now, how about tasers? I don't even know if they're available to the public, but are they?
Tasers are not available to the public. That is something law enforcement uses, and actually Taser is a brand name, but it's kind of like Kleenex.
Gotcha.
You think about tissue. What is available is stun guns, and some women will carry. I don't recommend them. The reason is it's for incapacitating them just enough that you can get away, but many times it doesn't stun them enough for a long enough time, and they'll catch up to you. With the reason when we use them, it's to be able to get up there and get handcuffs on them. Well, women or men are not. That's not their purpose. They're not going to be putting handcuffs on someone. And the ones that stun guns that you get, you have to get up and you have to press it on their body. So you have to be in close proximity. And they're just going to grab you. They're going to be more angry. So I don't recommend the stun guns for self-defense.
Yeah, no wonder the pepper spray is so popular among realtors.
And they have now they have gel. They have others that you can be further away, can be just as effective.
Of course, in all the movies I watch, the bad guy is incapacitated momentarily. Seconds later, they sit back up. And
That's like the CSI. Everything's solved in 1 hour.
Exactly. All right. Now, let's talk a little bit about kind of the self-defense moves you can put on a bad person. I know you touched on it briefly, but tell me more about what kind of training you would recommend for realtors.
Well, there are various classes. We offer one, and like I said, during COVID, we haven't been doing the in-person, but the class that we offer is called Ready, and it's a 2-hour class. It's for females. It's also for teenage girls, but we go into the different things, the vulnerable areas. So you're targeting the nose, the throat, the groin area. The feet are you can stomp on people. There's the RAD, which I believe FGCU still, that's where the instructor wears a bodysuit, so you can go all out. It's a longer, sometimes they offer it for a day, sometimes it's a week-long class, but it's goes into more where you're on the ground and the grappling and stuff. Ours is basic. I think the oldest I've had in my class is 94. So it's a good beginning class to learn some introductory things about self-defense, and learning more about how you would react to situations.
Yeah. Now, I want to remind our listeners, and you touched on this earlier, if you're going to attack someone physically with the corner of a clipboard or what have you, where are the most vulnerable places?
If you're in front, I would go for the nose area, because how many of us, when we get our nose hit, will grab for our face and the throat, because that type of area. Anything that will get away their sight. So if you have water, coffee available, if you're outside, pick up sand or dirt, throw it in their eyes. Anything where they have to, oh man, that's where the pepper spray is good, getting it right into their eyes and nose area. And then the groin or the feet, if you're down at the bottom, you have that area is open to you. I don't suggest headbutting forward because you might go, but you headbutt back if they're behind you.
Yeah.
We have a couple moves to help you release, get some space with their arms. Biting is always good.
Biting.
Anything to get them to let go of you, so that, and then you don't just stand there you get out. That's why you need to know where's your nearest exit.
All right. Wow. Now, in the training that you've done through your career, have you ever been hit with a taser or pepper spray, anything like that?
Both.
Both. Tell me about that experience.
Well, when I went through the academy, we had to be pepper sprayed to show that if for some reason the pepper spray does drift to us, we can still work through it. So we got pepper sprayed, and then we had to run and handcuff a guy, throw him into the car, and believe me, I was tasered, which is, of course, it can go, it's 5 seconds, but then if you need it again, you do another 5 seconds. But we did 5 seconds. You collapse because you lose all your body, your muscles. Sometimes people curse and you're down, but then you're up and everything's good. Pepper spray lasts for hours, and your nose is leaking. It's just very, very. You panic because you can't breathe. So pepper spray is always. I like that, using that a lot better than a stun gun taser. Now,
if we ask nicely, could we get you to demonstrate that on, say,
sure? Who's volunteering?
One of us?
You.
Should we have a self-defense class here?
That was clearly a joke. Clearly a joke. We don't need that.
Wait a minute. I'm going to have to talk to Kim after the show.
You may not have a show for a couple days.
I don't know that I'd have the nerve.
You host, you demo.
I couldn't sit there and take the pepper spray.
You have good workman's comp?
Oof. We're going to test it. So, all right. So weapons can be very helpful, as we've seen. I was just thinking as you were talking that a realtor could also have like a coffee cup with sand in it.
Coffee, anything hot, anything burn, anything. You're trying to incapacitate their eyes, their vision, their breathing, anything like that to get their hands off of you, to get where they can't see you, where they're now they have to deal with their own stuff, and you can get out.
So if it's going to require the services of an ear, nose, and throat specialist, it's probably going to be effective.
Right.
All right. Got it. Now, I would like to wrap things up, Dr. Swanson, by getting from you, and I asked you to think about this in advance, if there are three safety concepts, ideas, tips that every realtor should know, what, in reverse order, 3, 2, 1, what are those 3 tips, please?
One is listen to your intuition. Almost every case that I've read about or a interview I've heard, and I'm talking just with realtors, but this is across the board, something was hinky, something was off. They were uncomfortable in a situation. They said, I just, the hairs on the back of my head, but I wanted the sale, or I just pushed through it and ignored it, and then something happened. So listening, if something is, pause, push the pause button, look, hear, is it something I'm hearing? Is it something I'm smelling? Is it something I see? And then if you think, well, I don't know, I don't really, cautiously being alert, go ahead, or schedule again another day but listen to that intuition. That's one.
Number 3. Yep.
Then the next one is you have to be prepared. Have that survival mindset, because if something does happen, if it's the unexpected, and 96% of those on the NAR safety report in 2020 said that they never had been assaulted, never had violence. So, and here in Lee County, we have not had anything for a long time, since the 80s. So you probably the odds are that you're not. But you need to be prepared to survive. What do I need to do to survive? And I am going to survive this. Having that mindset. And the biggest thing is to think of the what ifs. Think it through. Have a plan. In case, what if it does in the house? What if? And then it won't come as such a shock if it does. It's like, okay, I've already thought about this, and I'm just going to get into training mode, exactly what I've thought about. And then the number 1 is keep aware of your situation, people around you. Keep your eyes up and open with that confidence that you're showing in your body. That body language is people, with the realtor and their work, the majority of the criminals will not act at the very beginning. They want to feel you out. They want to see if you're watching them, if you're being aware of them. They will maybe take you to 2 or 3 locations, and they're getting more remote. They look for the areas that going to give them the best opportunity. So not letting down your guard, no matter if they're a pregnant person, no matter whether they're a 90-year-old man, that you always are going to be aware and alert to your situations around you.
Wonderful. Good stuff. Now, before we wrap up, I want to touch on something that you alluded to. We haven't had incidents with realtors here since the 80s. That's not to say there haven't been some issues.
Right. Somebody asked me that the other day. At the sheriff's office, I don't know, I can't speak for the police departments. When we get crimes, a robbery, a homicide or a sexual assault, whatever it might be, it's not tabulated by realtors, bankers,
okay. Right.
That. So I can't pull up
Sure.
to say this is what types of crimes are realtors. Usually, it would be in the media if a realtor was attacked. It would be in the news. I know in '85 there was a realtor that was killed on Sanville. Her name was Sheila. But since then, we've had occasionals where a realtor might find a squatter in the house, and but they didn't have any violence happen. Their purse was stolen, things like that.
Okay.
There may be incidents that was never reported because sometimes things will happen, and maybe they're embarrassed, or they left, or they didn't tell anybody, or maybe they just told their friends or another realtor, and it wasn't reported as a documented. So, but as from what I can see, there hasn't been anything.
So overall, Lee County is
Yeah.
a very, very safe place
Yeah.
for realtors to operate in. I know in Sarasota recently there was an incident involving a couple of men and a realtor, right?
Yeah, there's been several incidents that's happened in Florida and various other places too, but some of them too will do something or target one realtor, and if they are rebuff or show a lot of awareness, they maybe won't do anything, and then they'll go to another realtor the next day and do another showing and find out, oh, this one's better target. And so then a couple times the realtors have been seen it on the news and said, oh, that's the one I was very uncomfortable with, and recognize the description of it. So if something happens or you're at a showing with someone that makes you uncomfortable or says something, pass it on, because possibly they might engage another realtor and something worse might happen with that one. So share your information.
Very good advice. Dr. Kim Swanson, I want to thank you once again for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come talk with us today about realtor safety. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. All right, it's time to wrap up this episode of the Royal Palmcast. I, again, am Jim Sanville with Jerry Johnson, and I want to thank everyone here at the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association in Fort Myers for their support and all the good stuff they do to make this a wonderful organization, especially our CEO, Beata Jones. Just a jewel. So I also want to let you know, if you do have something you want to get off your chest and let us know about at the Royal Palmcast, or just a show idea, a comment, question, anything you got, you can do that by sending an email to shows@rpcra.org. And be sure to listen to our other podcast, Realtor Riff Rap, with host Nick Bejelis, and our video show on YouTube, Realtor's Corner with Nick and Joanna Rowell. And we will look forward to seeing you again next time.
Thanks for listening to the Royal Palmcast. Tune in again for more episodes, and make sure to check out our sister podcast, Realtor Riff Rap, and our video news show, Realtor's Corner, which can be found on the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association Facebook page and YouTube channel. Sponsorship opportunities for these programs and more coming soon. So stay connected with RPCRA and stay tuned. This has been a production of the Royal Palm Coast Realtor Association.